Okay, I'm doing the first tests and I realized that what I always thought, it's actually a bit wrong. The original speakers are not the limiting factor in this car. Yes, the sound is a bit better with this, but the distorting, no, not at all from the speakers, only from the head unit. So there's that. And another thing, I thought the original speakers just couldn't really work at really low frequencies because I wasn't getting absolutely, I wasn't getting much bass from the front speakers. I was wrong on that also. It seems that when the Audi sound guys made this sound system, they decided that the front speakers, the whole part of the front of the car, will not get the lowest frequencies. So I'm just guessing that maybe it's not getting below 60 Hz or something like that. Anything, or maybe below 80 Hz. Anyway, but weirdly enough, they decided that even the tiny door speakers in the back should be getting all of those low frequencies that also the subwoofer is getting. So yeah, I'm going to try and capture this on video. Not sure if I can, but to test this, I tried it on the passenger door that's still as new, original. If you crank up the music, the volume, let's go back. Let me try and show you. Put your sub to minimum as it's here. It will still work a tiny bit even with the front or even with the back when you go to the fader option. But play around with the fader and you will hear when you have it on rear, you have much more bass, on front much less bass. And if you leave it on middle and just crank up the volume and open the doors, put your hand on the grill and you will see the back doors move much more and you feel way lower frequency with your hand and hear lower frequency with your hand. So the front speakers, bass, they decided to make them actually more like mid-range. But the back speakers, which are actually smaller, I think they are 6.5 inches, although the fronts are 8 inches even original, they decide to give all the frequency to them. So I don't know, probably somebody said, or that's the idea, that the bass should come from the back of the car. But I have two small kids in the back of the car. I don't want to give the bass only to them, and I have nothing, so I need to crank up the volume. It's stupid. Yes, I do understand that somebody probably made this decision. Maybe it's even correct for a sound system. This is maybe how it's supposed to be, but I don't like it. So what I'm going to do, maybe many of you probably will not agree, I will go in the back, in the trunk, and in the quad lock connector that enters the radio unit, I will try to open up the connections themselves, the pins, and move the connection from this particular speaker to my front. So actually I will swap in this car front with back. Yes, it might mess up all of the settings, the really nice settings I'm sure that they did. I don't care. To me, what's happening is stupid. So I will just do this switch front to back on both sides, and yes, my fader will be backwards. When I go to front, it will actually be back. When I go to rear, it will actually be front. I always have it in the middle. I will know that if I want to change something, it's actually mirrored in reverse. Yeah, whatever, it is what it is. Okay, so I opened up the back doors and now I'm going to also show you how much the back speaker moves at the same volume compared to the front speaker. So the front speaker you cannot see move, and the back speaker moves a lot, and it's the same on the other side, so it's not just this speaker. To work a bit easier, I'm going to get this brown part out. It has one clip here. I've already put this knife underneath it and a tiny one down at the bottom. So after I unclip both of them, I think I can push it backwards. Yeah, I was actually right. So I can get it out of here and work only with it. Next thing, needed to push this out. You can push it from the other side. It has a hole where you can reach it. It will fly away, so be careful about it, don't lose it. And now I must check exactly inside of these things which one of these tools I need. And I will also link tools like this in the description of the video. Okay, first one is out. This is actually a negative for back left side. This is the tool that worked for it, and positive for back. This is negative for left front, and that is positive for left front. So these two will be replaced with these two. I will switch them and then give it a power on and see if that speaker moves as it should. And if it does, hip hip hooray! I did a bit of a boo-boo, messed up the wiring, but the speaker is moving exactly as it should. So the idea is perfect, just put the wiring in the wrong position. So I moved from here A3, I moved it to A1, but A3 is left front, exactly what I'm working on, but I moved it to right rear. So I should have moved A3 to A2 actually. So I'm going to actually do that now and then continue for the other side of the car, because it's working exactly as I want it. If I swap rears with fronts, I have no idea why they did this, but yeah. And I will also put a link to this thing, to the pinout, if you need to do it, in the description of the video. Wires moved, and I'm plugging this thing in. And yeah, and locking it in place. And to undo it, you simply pinch in here. You need to actually squeeze two plastic pieces together and then pull on this lever, but I don't think I undid it well. Oh, actually I did undo it. I did undo it well, and it's coming out. But for me, this must go back in. So you see a plastic piece right there. You need to pinch it together with this one so it will unlock. Anyway, it's locked in place now. And if you are wondering what's up with these wires, I did add a subwoofer and a center speaker to this car, so I will also link that video in the description, because I also changed this thing. Mine was the crappy one with less speakers, so yeah, lots of mods. Finally I did it. Look how much this speaker is moving, almost at all. And how much the front speaker is moving. And this is not even really high volume. So yes, I swapped back with front on left and right, and now I have bass also in the front. But yeah, why it's not like that, I don't know. I really do hope it doesn't have anything to do with this crash sensor. Yes, if you do this swap, you cannot use this sound focus on the driver, because it will actually focus on the left rear passenger. So you need to have it like this, and it sounds perfect. Okay, so I'm ready to end this video. I'm filming this in a random car park until my wife is in a store. I've played around with the system a lot, and it's finally what I wanted from this car. I actually have bass in the front of the car, not only coming from the back of the car. So I'm not making my kids deaf in the back of the car just so I have a little bit of bass in front. these speakers are worth it if you do the swap that I did in the connector. So you swap rear connections with front connections. If you don't do that swap, these speakers will be just about as the original ones. So yeah, do that swap initially, see if you like what the sound is beginning to be like, and then you can upgrade the speakers. And yes, if you also add an amp or something like that and some sound deadening, not really sure how you pronounce that thing when you put a lot of that thing with aluminum and bitumen and Jesus, I went into some things that I have no idea how the terms for them are actually called on the metal, so the metal doesn't vibrate like crazy. Yeah, but if you want more, you need an amp. So for what I did, the stock amp is enough, but yeah, you can do better than this by adding some amplification, maybe some filters, but again, for what I'm using, stock amp not needed. This thing sounds, at least for me, exactly as I want it, and yeah, no need to change anything. Let me just show you my settings if it helps in any way. As you can see, sub is a little bit lower than middle. Bass, it's higher because I have bass in the front at deep levels, as it was produced by a subwoofer even in the front, which is awesome. Treble just a little bit plus, and obviously this other two in the middle. And here, yes, I don't have it on driver, I have it on all because I swapped those things, so on driver it will never sound good again. But yeah, there's that. So am I happy that I did this upgrade with the speakers? Yes. Would have been worth it if I wouldn't have swapped the connections? No. Is it worth it now with the connection swap? Yes. And there's that. Are these speakers good? Oh yeah, they are really good, and they could take way more power than what I'm throwing at them at the moment. But again, for my use scenario in this car with kids most of the time in the car, I just want it to sound really well even at lower levels, and it does. But at higher levels, the amp is nowhere near enough to power these speakers fully. The subwoofer that I added, which I will link in the description, the video for it, and even the tweeters that I replaced, this amp cannot power everything at max. Yeah, it's not enough, it's not powerful enough, that simple. So there's that for this video. Yeah, and you know in what period I'm filming this, based on that thing. There's that. Hope this video helps you, in which case please give it a like, check out my other videos, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye.